Hey everyone, Sir Jellybean here, and we are back with Call to Arms Gates of Hell, and this is the new Liberation DLC, and we have the brand new units for the Germans. So I believe I brought out every new German vehicle that I can find. I hope I haven't missed any. If I have, do tell me. And we're just going to go through them. There's some interesting things here, some very interesting things, and we'll start at the half track. So, this is the brand new SD KFZ 251/22. Basically, it's a half track mount in the 7.5cm L46, and as you can see, bit of a beast. The main thing is it's obviously a mobile, it's a pack wagon, but it's kind of like the, if you think about the Puma of the pack, but it's on a half track. You know, and these were, I believe, made because they needed more anti-tank available. And they obviously had thousands of half tracks produced during the war, so they converted some to have the pack in. Now, obviously, it was pretty cramped. I'm pretty sure they had to add some weights to it. You do get quite a bit of ammo. You get 18, because one's loaded in armor piercing, 25 HE. You get 5 heat and 2 armor piercing composite rigid. It's very useful. And it's down the half track kind of line of areas, so it's really useful to have this as a sport thing, and I think it's a good fluff piece. Now, I still don't think it's better as the Puma with the half track. As you can see, it's not as mobile, and it's only got light armour, but it is very cool. But it does have quite, it's quite a, if you look at the gun on it, it's quite high up, and it has good depression and, what would it be, elevation. So you can use it. It's got pretty good movement on it, so, it's quite good for pumping rounds out, which is fantastic, I must say, fantastic indeed. Then next we have the SD KFZ 251-221, which is armed with 3 MG 151-15. So that's the MG15. I believe it's a 15mm weapon, which is very strange. Now, I've never really come across this, so I'm just going to spray a few rounds out for you. As you can see, it comes with 1250 HE and, what is that? Now, what's that saying? 1000 HE, 2250 HE, and 325 AP, and it has 450 HE loaded in. Let's just give it a quick spray. As you can see, that is basically a World War II Gatling cannon. It's kind of strange. I've never really come across this during the war. I think it's a very specialist piece. To me, it's not an anti-aircraft gun, I don't think. Maybe it's light anti-aircraft, but it's more of a fire support weapon. A very interesting design, and as you can see, it's got the same armour as the last one, same speed, but that will shred through infantry. It's only small HE rounds, but the sheer amount will kill. And the armour piercing as well, being 15mm, will be quite light, but I do believe this will be quite an interesting sport vehicle. Great for shredding light infantry, great for kind of suppressing targets and hitting them hard. So yeah, very interesting. I think that's a really cool addition. Next, we have the SD KFZ 251/17. Now, as you can see, this thing can also carry passengers up to its 3-man crew, and it can carry 5 more, which is nice. So it's still a kind of mini half track. It's armed with the 2cm L55, which is obviously the same thing that is on the Lukes, I believe. So this is quite an interesting. Imagine a half track Lukes. I still think, like I say, these are good for fluff and a bit of variation, but they're not something I'd choose over actual dedicated anti-tank or scout vehicles, but they're still very, very interesting. Comes with 300 AP and 300 HE, and as you can see, it had 10 armor piercing loaded in. But it is good because it's a turret, which is very interesting. So you can spin it all the way around. I need to check if the last one, I don't believe this is this a turret as well? This is also a turret, which is very cool. So the fact that it's actually a mounted turret makes it a lot more useful in that sense than the Puma variants, because they are forward mounted, kind of like the pack. So that gives it a nice bit of option, but very cool. And it's another cool addition. Now, obviously, this is the Flam half track, SD KFZ 251/16. It's not an actual half track anymore. It's just because it's full of troops. You can carry 1 extra. Has the forward mounted MG42 with multiple rounds, as you can see. Nice to have. I will say the MG42 is on number 2, so just be careful when you're pressing it, but you also have these flamethrowers. Now, these flamethrowers are great because, obviously, they cover a 180-degree angle, pretty much. So you can hit, it goes in and burns. And you get 10 burst, but you do get a lot of flamer fuel. Each one has, I believe they share the flamer fuel, so if you go through that, obviously it's unlimited on editor, but it's very cool. But the fact that you can basically go forward whilst flaming, this thing is fantastic for urban environments. Imagine going into this town. Let's say you went down here through the church, you could flame as you're going through and clear out any side units. Now, it is quite vulnerable, it's only lightly armoured and it's open topped, but I do think it's an interesting addition. Now, I think this is just the scout one. I think this is actually already in the game. I just didn't recognise it, so we'll skip that. Next, we have the Panzer 42. Obviously, this is an armoured half track. It's got hull 6-12, as this has 8 to 14.5, so it's actually lighter armoured. It does have that forward mounted MG42, which is cool. They can jump on that if needed. But it also has the Panzerwerfer missile system. Now we are just going to see how far this thing can go. Let's have a look. Now this obviously armed with 15cm Nebelwerfer rounds. It has 10 loaded in, so it's firing quite a few. And its range is, where's its range? Let's have a look. Its range is 320? Oh no, 310, which is pretty good actually. I think it's about on par with a Nebelwerfer. We're just going to fire away. It's quite slow firing, but it's going to be good for kind of saturation bombardment, as you can see. But the only thing is, because of its slower, kind of fairly slow firing rate, they are going to have time to kind of start moving out of the way or scattering, taking cover. So you have to be aware of that, but still, a lot of firepower. Very, very cool. But yeah, I do like the Panzerwerfer. I think it's good. And the fact that it's mobile and it can reload on the move gives it a massive, good edge. It's kind of like the new half-track, the walking Stuka. Now, this is next. We have the Panzer IV 70, which is the long-barreled version of the Panzer IV tank destroyer, or the Jagdpanzer, I believe. See, this is a bit different to the. I think it's supposed to be the Jagdpanzer IV, is the actual term. But I think that's the other one. This is the Panzer IV variant that's converted, but as you can see, it has that massive 7.5cm L70, which is 190mm pen. We're talking the same as kind of the more penetration than the Panther. As you can see, it's quite well armoured. It has between 25 and 100 and 5 and 75 extra armour. So still not as strong as something like a Tiger or a Panther, I don't believe, but still very useful. Comes with a lot of ammunition altogether, 43 APC, arm piercing, 27 HE, 2 arm piercing composite rigid. And the range on that main gun is 210, which is very long range. And as you can see, we'll just have a quick look at it. Now the MG is just front mounted, so you have to be a bit careful with the infantry, but you do have this major weapon, and as you can see, massively powerful and quick reload speed, quicker than an 8.8. I think this is going to be a massively popular vehicle. It's very cool. Also has side skirts. It's a cool looking vehicle. I think it's going to be a good supporting tank destroyer, but still personally prefer things like the Panther and the Tiger, but nice fluffy unit, nice to have, and very cool looking. Next is the Nashorn, one of my personal favourites. This was a gun carriage, the kind of it's a tank destroyer, but also a support weapon. Carries the massive 8.8cm gun that's on the King Tiger. Now, as you can see, it's loaded with 20 armor piercing rounds and 20 HE, and it does have a machine gun. Oh no, it doesn't have a machine gun, but it has a machine gun in its inventory for the crew. Very fast reload speed. Its range is knocking out at around 220, I believe. Yep, about 220. And as you can see, it's very lightly armoured, but it's quite mobile, quite nimble. And if you load rounds in, it's very powerful. It is a support gun, like I said, imagine a Mobile 88. This thing was used throughout the war. One even took out a Pershing tank near the end of World War II. And as you can see, this thing can just decimate things with that amazing destructible terrain, which is fantastic. So yeah, I love the Nashorn. Glad to see it here, and very cool looking. I think it very good aesthetic, and I like the sights and stuff have been included. Very beautiful model. Good work for Barbara Studios there. Next, we have the Hummel self-propelled howitzer. Has 18 rounds. As you can see, it's a 15cm, so a mobile artillery piece. Its range is knocking out at 385, which is pretty good. As you can see, we'll just pump a round off. So this is useful if you want some mobile fire support, and obviously you can move it around and it can load while it's moving, which is fantastic. Gives it a bit of an edge over standard artillery. It's very lightly armoured, same kind of gun carriage as the Nashorn, kind of similar as you can see. It's going to be easy to kill, so just keep it safe, but the fact that it's mobile gives you a massive edge, and it's a beautiful vehicle as well. Once again, a very cool addition. So there's new German vehicles. There'll be more videos coming out to cover some artillery and some light stuff, but I think there's some really cool stuff there. And I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed bringing it to you. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you on the next one.